This video defines the work week. 7 consecutive 24-hour days are included in a work week that can differ by pay period. A common example is when an employer will ask why an employee qualifies for overtime when they analyze the pay. In their mind, it just doesn't add up to over 40 hours. However, if you extend that to any 7 consecutive days in a pay period, the employee has worked over 40 hours that spanned the length of the 2 pay periods, and those hours may begin at any time. For example, the employee may begin their shift at 12 noon on Friday, and that determines the overtime pay.
The 880 rule, and this applies to hospitals and nursing homes. 14-day period instead of work week. Overtime over 8 in day or 80 hours in 14-day period. And this is an agreement between the employee and employer. This also applies to firefighters and police officers. The work period is 7 to 28 days. There's no overtime or compensatory time unless over maximum hours. Changing a work week, you calculate overtime under old and new, and you pay the greater of 2. So in order to calculate overtime, the first step is to determine the regular rate of pay. So to do this, you take the pay for all hours worked less the exceptions. So you have over 40 hours in a work week, and the hours are physically worked. It's the 150% of the regular rate of pay. The overtime premium equals the 1/2 rate. And again, the state rules may vary.
To calculate the overtime, you must include the base pay for hours worked, non-discretionary bonuses, the fair market value of non-cash compensation, shift premiums, and production bonuses.
Again, this all has to be calculated in your rate of pay, cost of living adjustments, and retro pay. You do not have to include reimbursed business expenses, discretionary bonuses, employer benefit plan contributions, and PTO, gifts, stock options. Now let's define those discretionary versus non-discretionary bonuses. They're contractual and agreed upon. For example, if you have a production bonus, attendance, quality, efficiency. So if your manager comes in and says, if you have X amount of production, say you produce 100 widgets, we will give you a $100 bonus. Then that is a contractual and agreed upon, and that is calculated in your overtime. And discretionary bonus would be an employer has discretion on whether or not to pay an S to the amount. So a discretionary bonus might be like a Christmas bonus. And even if they usually provide a Christmas bonus, if it's not part of your contract or part of a non-discretionary bonus, then it qualifies as a discretionary bonus. It's not promised in advance. So step 1 is you calculate the regular pay. Step 2 is calculate regular rate of pay. So first you calculate how much pay they get, and then you calculate the rate. To do that, you take the regular pay and you divide it by the hours worked. Step 3 is you take the overtime premium rate and you multiply it. So you take the regular rate of pay and you multiply it by 50%. And then you take the overtime premium rate times the hours of overtime, and you get the premium pay for overtime. And then you add those together. So we're going to walk through an example of how to do this. So an employee worked 46 hours, they're paid $12 per hour, and have a $100 production bonus. So the regular pay is just simply $12 times 46 hours, which would be $552. And then you need to add the $100 production bonus because that is qualified as a non-discretionary bonus. So for the total regular pay, you get $652. Next, you need to calculate the regular rate of pay. So you're going to take the total amount that they were paid and divide by 46 hours. And you get $14.17 rounded. Now again, this is different than the $12 base pay rate because you added in that production bonus. You can smooth that production bonus out over the 46 hours that were worked. Now you're taking the 50% of the regular rate of pay, which comes out to be $7.09. They worked 6 hours of overtime, so you're going to take $7.09 multiplied by 6. So you take, again, that 50% of the rate of pay and then multiply it by 6, and you get $42.54. Now you take that $42.54, add it to the $652, and you get $694.54. And also calculate the overtime for piece workers. And this is when an employee is based on production and not an hourly rate. Method 1, you still determine the regular rate of pay on piece rate and hours worked. Pay overtime premium for all hours worked over 40. Method 2 is to have the piece rate at least 1.5 times the regular piece rate for any items produced after 40 hours. Calculating overtime on commissions. Commissions are included in regular rate of pay for a non-exempt employee. You add commission to regular rate of pay for the work week. Determine regular rate of pay and calculate overtime premium. In practice, the overtime premium may have to be calculated after the fact if commissions are not paid in the week that they are earned. Calculating overtime for salary employees. First, you have to convert salary to an hourly rate in order to determine the regular rate of pay. For example, if you make $1,000 per week for a 40-hour work week, that's $25 per hour. And hours worked for over 40 are eligible for overtime premium. Regardless of pay, overtime is based on a work week. You have monthly salary times 12 months divided by 52 weeks as your weekly salary.